So now let us know more about emergent literacy. So what is emergent literacy? It refers to the development of skills and knowledge that precede formal reading and writing. It also includes a range of early literacy behaviors and concepts that young children acquire as they become familiar with the written language. So the skills that involved are recognizing letters and their sounds, understanding that print carries meaning, and showing an interest in books and storytelling. It is an important foundation for later reading and writing abilities and typically begins to develop in early childhood through exposure to print and language rich environments. So it means that the child is in the age of developing and don't have the knowledge to read and write, and they will be able to know as they were growing and developing. So uh, in 1960, Marie Clay coined the term emergent literacy. She found out that literacy skills was learned from birth. So now let's compare emergent literacy to the reading readiness. So emergent literacy, as I have discussed, it is about the process of learning from birth, and it is also applied in real life, and it is concurrent reading and writing and informal modeling of literate others. While reading readiness is more about skills and sequence and how they would be able to learn in reading and writing. So now let's continue to the areas of instructional focus by National Reading Panel. So the National Reading Panel, which was convened in the United States in 1997, identified five key areas of instructional focus for effective reading instruction. So these areas often referred to as five pillars of reading. So the first one is phonemic awareness. So this involves the ability to recognize and manipulate individual sounds or phonemes in spoken words. It is crucial for learning to read and write. Next one is the phonics. So it teaches the relationship between letters and the sounds they represent. It helps students understand how to decode words by sounding them out. Then the next one is fluency. So it focuses on reading with accuracy, speed, and expression. Fluent readers can read smoothly and comprehend text more effectively. The next one is vocabulary. So it is essential for understanding on what they have read. It helps students learn the meaning of words and how to use them in the context. Lastly is the comprehension. So it is the ability to understand and make sense of what is read. It involves various strategies and skills for extracting meaning from text. So these five areas of focus serves as a foundation for the effective reading instruction and are critical for developing strong reading skills in students or the child. So now let us move on to balanced literacy. So balanced literacy is an instructional approach that aims to provide a comprehensive and well-rounded literacy education by integrating various components of reading and writing. It recognizes that literacy involves multiple skills and strategies and emphasizes a balanced approach to address the diverse needs of learners. So the first, we will identify the components of reading. So the first one is reading aloud. Teachers read aloud to model fluency, expression, and comprehension and let the students know your expressions. Next one is shared reading. Um, the students and teachers read together, often use in large text, and this promotes discussion and shared understanding. Then the next one is guided reading. So the small groups of students works with the teacher to read books at their instructional level, allowing for targeted support. And the last one is the independent reading. So independent reading is more on the students will be independent on learning how to read. They will be the responsible for learning in reading. Now, let's move on to the components of writing. So, first is modeled writing. The teachers demonstrates writing techniques and strategies serving as a model for students. And the next one is shared writing. So, the student, teacher work together to compose a piece of writing. Then the next one is interactive writing. So from the word interacting, the students and their teachers also write together, providing opportunities for collaborative writing experiences. And the last one is the independent writing. So it is the same with the independent reading that the students will learn or do it on their own. So these components in reading and writing aims to create a supportive and engaging environment that nurtures both reading and writing skills while fostering a love of literature and communication. So now let's move on to the stages for writing development and progression of a beginner writer. We all know that the child doesn't have the ability to read and write directly, and there's stages wherein the child um, helps on developing the reading and writing skills. So the first one is scribble. So we all know the scribble is writing in a nonsense way or without a context. And next is a nonsense print. It is a writing that lacks any meaningful or current content, and its content doesn't convey a meaning. And letter strings is a writing that letters are arranged together without forming a recognizable words. And the fourth one is writing with environmental prints. So it is designs, labels, and symbols the child familiar with, and then he or she write it like the way it was seen in uh, anywhere or in the environment. Then lastly is the invented spelling. So practice of spelling words based on child's understanding of a letter, sounds, relationship, and phonetic principles. So that's um, the stages for writing development of a beginner writer. So, next one is how can I help my child develop literacy skills? So, these are the strategies that might help the child to develop the reading and writing skills. And the first one is establish predictable routines to encourage children to learn to anticipate events. So, when routines are established, children begin to learn about objects and vocabulary associated with certain activities. Active participation in all steps of a routine can reinforce concepts and language skills. And routines also helps a child to develop sequencing skills. So the second strategy is provide concrete language embedded experiences. So children who are blind or visually impaired need the opportunity to experience things through hands-on activities that are meaningful and fun. So they will often need a specific instruction because of the lack of access to information through incidental learning. So, for example, a book about a farm will be much more meaningful if the child had a chance to visit an actual farm. So the third strategy is to create a communication-rich environment with meaningful activities in the natural context. So the development of a wide range of vocabulary and concepts are essential to success in literacy. Model appropriate language for your child throughout the day. Just adding some adjectives like wet, dry, rough, smooth, and many more. Add more detailed descriptions can help to expand a child's vocabulary and to reinforce concepts. Then the fourth strategy is read aloud. So many children benefit from reading aloud. It is a time for them to enjoy special individual attention, to reinforce language and concept development, and to work on book handling skills. In order for the experience to be pleasant and meaningful, However, it is important to follow a few basic tips. And the number five is expose the child to reading and writing within the daily routine. So include the child in the process of reading and writing lists, directions, recipes, menus, messages, or letters to a friend and family, and any other activities that occur within routine activities. Because they may not be able to observe you reading or writing, you will need to be creative in finding ways to make these activities accessible. So, these articles or these strategies that I have mentioned suggests a way to individualize literacy experiences for visually impaired students in order to promote meaningful reading and writing. It includes a list of global experiences and suggestions of how to use the essential literacy experiences for students with a visual impairments. So, what are the evidence based and recommended practices to facilitate emergent literacy? So, to facilitate emergent literacy in young children with disabilities, early interventionists should provide collaborative, family centered support that is developmentally appropriate and based on evidence based and recommended practices that result in functional outcomes within naturally occurring learning opportunities, according to Early Intervention Training Center for Infants and Toddlers with Visual Impairments. A teacher or anyone might help the child with visual impairments through being collaborative or interactive and should be supported by family. The next slide will be all about the strategies and interventions that result in functional outcomes. So, strategies and interventions to facilitate emergent literacy focus on the development of the six key components. So, first is oral language. So, it is the ability to communicate using spoken words and is fundamental aspect of human communication. It involves speaking, listening, and understanding language through speech. So, the second one is the phonological awareness. So it refers to the ability to recognize and manipulate the sounds within words. Children who develop strong phonological awareness are often better equipped to understand the relationships between letters and sounds, which is essential for reading and spelling. So the third one is concept development. Concept development is the process by which individuals of various abstract or concrete ideas, principles, or categories. It involves the ability to form, organize, and refine mental representations of concepts, which can be general, specific, or complex. So the fourth one is knowledge of the conventions of print, braille, and print, or braille intentionality. So braille is a tactile writing system primarily used by people with visual impairments to read and write. So the fifth one is alphabetic knowledge. So it is about knowing the alphabets and their sounds in order to identify and comprehend the words and write correctly. So the last one is rich literacy environments. So it refers to a setting or context that provides individuals, especially children, with a wide range of opportunities to engage with and develop their literacy skills. So this environment is designed to foster a love for reading, writing, and language, and to support the development of strong literacy abilities. So now let's move on to the developmentally appropriate strategies and interventions that promote functional outcomes. So the first one is play. So play is a crucial and multifaceted activity that plays a significant role in promoting functional outcomes across various domains of human development. So play is not just a leisure activity, but it's a fundamental aspect of human development that contributes to various functional outcomes. It is an essential tool for learning, growth, and well being, and it continues to be important throughout life, not just in childhood. The second one is routine based literacy. So, it is an approach to promote and develop literacy skills in young children by embedding literacy activities into their daily routines and activities. This approach recognizes that young children learn best when literacy is integrated into their everyday life and experiences. So the third one is responsive literacy environment. So it refers to a setting or context, typically in educational settings or at home, that is designed to meet the individual literacy needs of learners and to support their literacy development effectively. So, such an environment is an adaptable and attentive to the specific strengths, interests, and developmental stages of individuals within it. So the fourth one is a shared story reading, especially uh, dialogue reading, storybook preview, and storybook sounds. So it is a powerful and research supported practice for promoting various functional outcomes, especially in young children. When caregivers or educators read books together with children, it goes beyond the simple act of reading. So the last one is storytelling. So it includes the contextualized language, and it is a dynamic and versatile tool that can promote a wide range of functional outcomes across various age groups and contexts, whether in educational settings, therapy, entertainment, or everyday life. Storytelling is a versatile tool for promoting functional outcomes. It has the power to engage, inspire, and educate, making it valuable resource for personal and professional growth.